Hello, my name is Sandra Uni, and I'm here on behalf of the United Way of the Brown County area. This is our Living United series, and we really love this programming because we are able to reach out to our partner agencies, and those are the agencies that those campaign dollars, when those campaign dollars come in, we turn around and we disperse it right back out into the community. And so that's part of what we do with Living United, is to just feature the good work that our partner agencies are doing currently. And now we have had a beautiful turn of weather. The weather's beautiful. More people are out moving around. The streets are busier. And I am so glad to have you here today, Kristen. This is Kristen Walters. She's with CADA. And from there, let's go back and say that we have a viewer here today that may have never heard of CADA.
Sure.
Can you fill us in on what that is?
So CADA is Committee Against Domestic Abuse. We are a nonprofit serving the whole Region 9, so including Brown County, Sibley, all of Region 9. And we provide free, confidential, non-judgmental services to victims and survivors of domestic violence and sexual violence. So we have a shelter in Mankato for women and children that can house up to 22 folks at a time. We have advocacy services available throughout the region, including 2 advocates here in New Ulm. And we have our Keep Me Safe Supervised Parenting Time Center in Mankato, which is a space where children can visit with their non-custodial parent in a safe and conflict-free setting, and both parents can be assured that children aren't witnessing or having to be in the middle of any conflict between parents.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's nice about that, from what my understanding is that the courts in the area, the judicial system in the area is aware of this, and so they've even put it into their...
Yep, it's in custody orders or like child protection plans. Families can also opt into those services without a court order if they choose. Yeah, it's a valuable service and really important to a lot of people's safety plans.
Yeah, now I'll be honest, when we first returned to New Ulm, CADA was a new thing. We were gone for several years military and came back and I went, CADA, what is CADA? And I did some looking and I was so impressed with all of the things that you do and the number of families that are helped.
Yeah.
Do you have those numbers off the top of your head, or?
Not off the top of my head. I can say that each year it's between 1,000 and 1,500 people, up to 2,000 at times. Shelter, I think last year was around 150 people stayed in shelter.
Oh my God.
And our largest population of people staying in shelter are children ages 0 to 6.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of children that we're serving. But yeah, it's thousands of people here in the community, and that's not the only people experiencing violence. Those are just the ones that we're in touch with.
Right, and those are the ones that have services with the shelter or what have you.
Right.
I'm sure you must have a certain number of people that just kind of show up for the counseling part of it, maybe.
Yep.
And that's their comfort level.
Yes.
That's one of the things, if you've never had a chance to stop into the office, please do so. Their office is lovely. It's located right next to the Chamber of Commerce. And when you guys moved to that location, you had an open house.
Yes.
And I went down and I couldn't believe the number of people that are heavily impacted in the Brown County area.
Yeah.
And a lot of things is just people just aren't aware of the need. It's funny because people will, when I tell them some of our numbers, we give out over 500 backpacks a year. We've had, and people go, you have 100 kids in New Ulm that go hungry on the weekends? Yes, we do. They're having some food instability, and we're there to help with the parents or with our backpack program or whatever. That there is need everywhere.
Yes,
it's not inclusive to just to metropolitan areas.
Right, and I think that services like CADA or services that a lot of our nonprofits in the area provide, unless you or someone has told you that they've used that service, often people don't know about them. But it's domestic and sexual violence are issues that impact entire communities.
Yes.
And, you know, just in the last week, we've had 4 homicides in the state that have been related to domestic violence. And it, you know, and last year it happens everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just so sad.
Yes.
That's so sad.
Yes.
And so, you know, I have received phone calls at my office and saying, hey, this is a situation. Who can I talk to? And we at the United Way office itself don't provide the actual service. Our job is to refer them to the expert people that know really what they're doing, and as far as meeting the needs of these people. And so I countless times have said, you need to call KADA.
Yeah.
Because they just start to tell their story, and I know where it's going to go.
Right.
You know, and so
Yes.
want to get them connected to the right people.
Yes.
So I give your number
Right.
a lot.
We have a 24-hour line, so that there is an advocate available 24/7 if someone needs to chat, or we can chat over the internet. We have a web chat, text line, which we opened all during COVID.
Yeah, out of necessity.
Out of necessity.
And now you keep it because it works.
Yes, exactly. So we are available 24/7. You know, in-person services, not so much, but over the phone, we can be available.
Now, do you have a waiting list for your program?
No, we are a first come, first serve program because that's how crisis happens. You know?
You can't plan.
Exactly. And if someone calls us and we have space in our shelter, for instance, and it's a good fit, we'll have them come. And if we don't have space, we will work with that family to try to figure out
A different
solution, whether that's another shelter in the state, a hotel stay, whatever the solution can be. Yeah.
Now, a question that I get a lot is that Brown County has a lot of really effective not-for-profit organizations, and we do. I mean, if you have only lived in Brown County, you don't realize how good we've got it here. You know, there's a lot of safety nets for families in the area. And so, you know, my phone rings sometimes, and I give them the referring phone number. And the question I've had in the past is, you know, is there a long wait list? And I answer honestly and saying, you know, I don't know. But
And
you'll
yes.
just give them a call, and they will do whatever they can to help you or connect you to the right people or whatever.
And I think that's what's so great about having our whole team of advocates is they know all the other resources available. So if we can't help, they know, oh, you have to call Kelly on Tuesday and she'll help you.
Right.
They know all the nuances of the different programs, the different nonprofits, whether it's in Waseca, New Ulm, Mankato, wherever. And I think that speaks to our whole nonprofit community, how well we all work together.
Well, and that was my next question.
Yeah.
You know, we're very fortunate. We have Numas House, we have Ivy House, we have a lot of great programming through Brown County, you know, with the Universal Contact Program. How often do you get a chance to work with some of those other entities?
Me personally, I don't, as the fundraiser and communications person, but I do know our advocates are frequently working with other nonprofit partners. Again, whether it's here in Brown County or elsewhere, domestic and sexual violence can impact every aspect of someone's life, whether it's being able to put food in their refrigerator, whether it's being able to get their kids enrolled in after-school programs, whether it's homelessness. It can impact everything. So we know that we are just one part of a whole big web of support for a single person or family. So we're often working with all of these other nonprofits to help get someone all of the resources they need.
That's fabulous. Have you ever sent anyone over to say Numas House or Ivy House or something? And I'm sure they've
And
done
vice
the
versa.
same. I'm sure they've done the
Yep.
same. That is amazing.
Yeah.
So, number one reason people call you. I'm throwing you a curveball.
Number one reason people call us is they need help, whether it's they've been in an abusive relationship or whether they've experienced an assault of some kind. Often people don't reach out for so many reasons. And I think when someone does take the very brave step to reach out, they have decided that the fear of the unknown of what could happen if they don't get help
Is greater.
has outweighed the fear of
Yeah.
unknown of talking to a stranger about this issue or anything like that. So when that scale tips is often when we get a phone call.
Okay, that is so amazing. So you said it's 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best phone number for them if they are in a crisis situation?
It's our 1-800 number. So 1-800-477-0466.
Excellent,
Yes.
excellent.
Our
And-
website has all of our text line, chat, 24-hour helpline. all
Our
of those
website's
numbers.
amazing.
Yes. Yes.
They're the boon of my existence right now, but it is a useful tool
Yes.
that we all need to use because it's just the way life happens.
Yep.
We're at a speed of sound right now.
Yes.
So, okay, so if they were to walk into the CADA office, which again is located right next to the Chamber of Commerce, it's a beautiful building. It used to be the Bumbaloo
Yep.
Children's Clothing Store. Who's going to greet them?
Yeah.
What faces
Yeah.
will they meet when they walk in that door?
Completely depends on the day.
Okay.
But we do have 2 advocates who work there. Rebecca is one of our Brown County advocates and one of our community advocacy managers. And then Crystal is one of our advocates there right now. But they also are both going to court with people or meeting survivors to help with paperwork or whatnot. So they're busy too.
That is
So,
amazing
yeah.
to me. That is amazing to me. When we were in the military and we lived in San Antonio, and I had several friends who were part of that kind of volunteer, where they would go to court with people and kind of be their advocate, be their voice when it was just too hard for them
Right.
to express it themselves.
Right. And one of my buddies, she's no longer with CADA, but she was with CADA for many years. And she would tell me that there was a time when she got a huge hug from a client after a really tough court hearing. And the hearing did not go their way. It was not like a positive outcome for them. But the client had just said that when she had to get up and speak, being able to look at my friend, her advocate, and know that she didn't have to make eye contact with
To make
whoever.
her impact statement.
Yep. Being able to look at our advocate gave her that kind of stability to be able to say what she needed to say.
And sometimes people, when you're in a crisis or in a trauma situation, you're not maybe looking for all the answers. You are looking for a voice, a shoulder, someone who will listen to you and hold you up and give you courage.
And to say, I believe that this happened to you. which is
Exactly.
very
Acknowledge
important.
that what they're saying is the truth.
Right.
Oh, that
Yeah.
is amazing. And I just keep going back to the office because it's so beautiful
It's a
down there.
beautiful office, yes.
It's a beautiful
Yes.
office.
It is nice.
So let's give the viewers some really specific
Yeah.
instructions on how to get to you. So your website
Website.
would be,
CADAMN, like Minnesota.org.
hey, that's an easy one.
Yep, CADAMN.org.
That's great. And then the crisis phone number, do you have that one on the top of your head?
Yep, 1-800-477-0466.
Excellent. And they can ask for you, they could ask for anyone, or?
I would not be the one to talk to unless it is donation related
Okay,
or
gotcha.
communications
You're
related.
the money person.
But I will be able to pass them to the appropriate advocate
That
if
is
they are looking for help.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
That is fabulous. And as an addendum to the how do you get a hold of us, I need to share with as many people as I can, so I'm opting to use about a minute of your time today. We had a domain crash at the United Way, so we lost all of our everything. We lost our emails and everything, and we're working for almost 2 weeks while we were trying to rebuild and start a new domain and get things switched over. So the United Way also has a brand spanking new website.
Looks great.
Thank you.
Looks great.
We've been working on it. And it's a lot easier to remember. Our old one was kind of long, and this one now, it is uwbrowncounty.org. so much easier than the last one. And in order to get to me directly, it's Sandra@uwbrowncounty.org. And again, our phone number is 507-354-6512. And if you do not get a real person, please leave a message. I'm currently in office of 1.25. And so I am in and out. I had my landlord in the office that we're at was teasing me, saying that I was going to run into myself one of these days. So, but yeah, and then he did tell me one time, this isn't a B&B. Yes, I know. But when you're in the nonprofit community, it takes a special kind of person. It's not for the heart of heart. It's for the people who really are compassionate and want to make a change and want to save families. That's what it is. Let's save these families. And if we can help give them the tools and their tool belt and how to work with those situations.
Right.
And it's not so much just what we can learn to do in the future, but it's also, it's not just reactive, it can be proactive.
Right.
So if you are in a family situation that has some potential, when your domestic situation has the possibility of kind of falling apart, it's always good to be in contact or know who to contact, places like CADA, and have those numbers handy, have them squirreled away in your wallet so that when the emergency happens, the emergency help can be there as quickly as possible.
Well, and you asked earlier about our most frequent calls, and I would say we often hear from people who have been experiencing abuse for a very long time, but it just got physical. And we can work with people before things get physical, if they do. We know that abuse can be emotional, financial, mental, as well as physical and sexual.
And they're all equally impactful.
Yes.
They're all their own kind of track of trauma.
Absolutely. And so if people out there are experiencing anything, it does not need to be physical for you to get help.
That's really good to know, because I think maybe people think that that's true.
It's a common misconception.
I'm
but
one of those that wasn't aware of that
right.
until you went to your new building, and I went to the open house and I was chatting with the people there, and I went, really?
Yeah.
And so you're never told to learn something new, I guess.
Yeah, and
That's
we're here
amazing.
for whatever people need.
Yeah. Now you mentioned, and I did get an email mentioning that you have a kind of a transition happening.
Yes.
You've had one executive director for a little while.
Yep.
They have a new opportunity, so let's give us some details.
So Jason Mack, our executive director of 8 years, and he's been with CADA for about 10 years, is leaving at the end of June, and we have hired a new executive director, Brittany Wadowitz. She's currently our assistant director. She's been with CADA for 12 years and has worked in every different program we have. She's been an advocate. She's worked in Keep Me Safe. She worked in our shelter. She's kind of done it all.
She has the experience.
Yes, she has the experience. And her and Jason have worked closely together for the last few years as assistant and executive director. So she will be our new executive director as of July 1st.
That's neat. And knowing that they have a relationship and they've worked together for so long, even when you leave a position, especially in the nonprofit world, there's just a lot of, people needing to move around a bit. But we're all really good about giving you a call.
Right.
I mean, Jason may be stepping away from CADA, but he's going on to another exciting opportunity for him. But I'm sure, knowing Jason, that he would be right there if there was a phone call or a need, or, hey, what would you do? Give me advice.
And their transition plan has been so thoughtful, and I have been through a couple executive director transitions in my time at CADA or other organizations, and it seems like it's going really smooth, and I think it's going to continue to go
because it can be
smoothly.
stressful.
It can be,
for the new person and the person
I don't want to speak for
going out.
Brittany, but I think it's going swimmingly.
Well, good.
so
Well,
far.
I've been in contact with her a couple times
Yeah.
already, and she seems very sweet, and she really feels, I really feel like she knows what she's doing, which is great.
Yeah. We have been in good hands. We're continuing to be in good hands. Yeah.
That's exciting. How many offices do you have across southern Minnesota?
Currently, we have 7, and that is one of our other bigger transitions is
Where are they?
right now, we just closed our office in the city of Blue Earth today.
Okay.
But we have our Mankato office, Blue Earth, Fairmont, St. James, Waseca, New Ulm, St. Peter.
St. Peter.
Yes.
Wow. That's a
So-
lot of geography that you're covering.
A lot of geography. And most of those offices only have one staff person in them. And that's partly why we are changing our office model, because we know that having a presence somewhere is more than just a physical presence, but it's a relational one. And CADA has not been immune to funding cuts over the last several years and recently. So last year, 2024, we did a program evaluation of our community advocacy services and asked people who have used our services what was the most helpful, what can we do to improve our services, all sorts of questions. And the answers that we got from that survey told us a lot about how having a physical office isn't actually the end all be all to people getting the help they need, especially in a post-lockdown pandemic world. A lot of our folks are accessing services over Zoom or over the phone or the chat line. So we, partly due to budgeting, partly due to improving our services, have decided to switch to a regional hub model. So instead of having 7 offices with just maybe one person, we're going to have a few hubs with multiple advocates.
And you know, and I think that's the nicest thing for me, just from this side of the table, is knowing that there's someone else in the office you can bounce ideas
Yes.
across of, or someone who may have experienced something you haven't yet, and you can kind of pick their brain a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see that
Yeah.
that will be a benefit.
Advocate or survivors will have the opportunity to work with multiple advocates if that's what they need. So like I had mentioned, we're closing our Blue Earth office. St. James and St. Peter will also close. Not all right now. I think St. Peter, as their leases expire. So that's another big transition. I can say it's being done very thoughtfully and with a lot of consideration for what survivors need and what our community partners need from us. So yeah, that's what's going on.
Yeah, so don't despair. If you need, you know, you say you live in St. Peter, that doesn't mean you can't reach out for the help.
Yes.
It just means that CADA is working smarter, not harder, trying to conserve funds
Yep.
in a time where funding, it can be questionable. So they can be there for you.
Yes.
You just need to be willing to reach out and make that phone call.
And we will, I think something I love about CADA is how flexible we are, how adaptable we are. You know, nonprofit work is never immune to funding challenges. And I've been at CADA for 13 years, and throughout my time there, I've seen us adapt in many different ways to lots of external circumstances. So I think this will be a positive change overall.
Well, and the thing about change too is change can be good
Yeah.
if you handle it well.
Right.
You know, and a lot of it
Yep.
is attitude behind it. You know, hey, we're making some adjustments here, but it's going to make for a better, stronger program for us.
Right. And I think with such a wide geographic area to serve, we have to do it well. And I think this will be a step in the right direction
It's
of
fantastic.
serving that whole region.
Now, at one point, I heard a little rumor, so you can tell me if it was just rumor or not. 'Cause
Sure.
You know how small towns are. That New Ulm was considering expanding their services into have a shelter.
Oh, I have not
You
heard
have
that
not heard
rumor.
that rumor?
I have not heard that rumor, but
Well, if you hear that rumor, let me know.
I'll let you know.
Because
I'll let
it's one
you
of those
know.
things that people ask me, they'll think I know, and
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
You know, I know what I find out at the partner meetings that we
Right.
do 4 times a year,
Right.
and yeah, if it doesn't come up, I don't know.
right. I will say that as of this moment, expansion is not something that's in our cards, just given our
Finances.
our budgeting, not our budgeting, our financial situation with funding. So At the moment, our name of the game is maintaining services and
Yeah.
being able to keep services as accessible as possible.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And as always, if you have any more questions about CADA and their services they offer, you can call them directly, and the number again is?
1-800-477-0466.
Or if you're a techie person, would prefer to reach out by email.
Yep, CADAMN, like Minnesota.org.
Or you can reach me, and I'm at 507-354-6512, or our new domain, which is uwbrowncounty.org. And that, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having
I always
me.
learn something new, and it's so wonderful. That's the exciting part about what
Yeah.
we do with Living United.
Yeah.
Is to get the information out there so that people know the facts.
Well, any chance I have to talk about CADA and the good things we do, I'm
Yeah,
happy
that's
to do
kind
it.
of me too.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word no means.
Right.
Want to go to breakfast at 7 o'clock in
Sure.
the morning? Sure. So, yeah. So, thank you very much for tuning in to Living United. Living United is an amazing program that we would not be able to do without the loving support from the technicians and staff with NewCat. They make this entire show possible. They do not charge us to do this for us, and so it is an amazing community service that they offer to us, and we do not take it for granted. We appreciate it, we love it, and keep watching, because once a month you'll see different faces out here. So thank you very much, and have a beautiful day.
Thank you.